from outdoors. And if you go back to the picture, Sam, that's the bandsaw. I have a resaw, it's a Hitachi, 3-inch wide blade with carbide and 5 horsepower, and it goes 20 inches tall. So I'm able to resaw thickness and width. So I put them all through there and rip them close. I'm making them 6 3/8 wide because I want to end up at 6 after they go through the planer. They have to be perfectly square and smooth at 6-inch by 6-inch. So I'm cutting them a little oversized on that bandsaw. And now you can go to the next. One more. There. Those are some of the blanks that are glued up. They're now 6.5 by 6.5 roughly, or 6 3/8. So what'll happen to those next is one face will get run through the joiner so it's dead smooth and flat. And then I turn it 90 degrees and do the next edge. And then from there they go to the thickness planer, where you run those 2 joined edges on the bottom table of the planer and the knives are on the top, and they'll make it parallel so that the thing is not only 6 by 6 after you plane it, but it's completely straight on all 4 sides. And
is this that ash that you had milled?
No, this is cedar.
That's right. Yeah. And this was all dry.
And the originals were pine, and they only lasted about 25 years because they rotted out where the handrails butt against the posts. So they wanted them in cedar, and we priced it in western cedar, and it came to $4,000 for western. So they decided to go with local cedar, and I happen to have a lot of it. So I'm able to make money on the wood as well as the turning. So next picture. So far I've got 9 of them glued up, and when I'm using pieces, you know, my stuff is like 12 inches wide, so I get a 6.5 and I end up with a 4.5. So I'm gluing together some of the 4.5s with another strip to get back to 6.5. So there's quite a lot of glue ups, and that's one of the glue up steps. So I'm using Titebond 3.
So what width is that right there?
That's actually 4 pieces, you know, being made wider with scrap.
Okay.
They're all just ganged up. Everywhere there's a
some spacers, are they all used? You're gluing them all of them?
Well, I'm gluing like a 1.5 to a 4.5 to get 6. And there's like 3 of those on that.
Okay,
right.
All right.
This piece glued to this
Everywhere
piece.
you see a C-clamp is where the glue line is.
This piece glued to this piece.
So I do that to make sure that on the 2 ends that they're matching up nice. And then after those are glued, you put 3 boards together and you've got a sandwich, you know, that's the right thickness. And I'm using my scrap up that way. But I went to Haskey's and bought a whole stack of 1x8 because this is just costing too much time and effort. So it'll be a lot of glue to glue 1-inch boards together, but if I do that times 7, you know.
So you're going to plane it again?
It all has to be joined and planed, yes. So the next step, or next picture.
You're laminating, you're using Titebond.
And there's 2 drywall screws that go through them, and it holds the original right behind the one that I'm going to turn. So that's the original on the lathe, but I'm going to move it back about 10 inches, and then I'm going to put my 6x6s on there. And that way, the original is right behind the one that I'm turning, so I can visually look at what I'm doing.
And this is your guide right here.
And my guide is a piece of steel from the Orange Highway trucks that scrape the roads around here in the winter. They wear out the blade.
Grater blades.
Yeah, when they get too skinny, they take them off and put a new one on. So that's what that brown piece of steel is. It's really good stuff.
There's your ball.
And I made those uprights out of oak and bolted them all together. They fasten to the ways. And so I have a continuous tool rest that I don't have to move. And every one of the major things, like the round ball, is marked on the tool rest. And then all I have to do is caliper the major diameters at key places. I just set a bunch of calipers and do a straight in plunge cut with a parting tool and establish the diameter of the ball at its biggest.
That'd work on it.
And so a whole series of straight in cuts and then just connect the dots. And in that way you get most of the thing will come out within a few thousandths, you know, within a 16th anyway, of being everyone the same. And the spacing is all marked on the rest.
Did you have to cut that greater blade?
No, I let it full length. It's on there because I didn't want to shorten it unless I had to. But the tailstock misses it. It goes right by it. So anyway, that's my setup.